And so it was, late in the 20th century, that a pox fell upon the land, a plague of home videos that were limited in intelligence. There was brain drain, and terminal boredom swept the countryside. The maker looked down and was not pleased by what he saw, and said, "This is not good." And so it was, he brought forth Genesis, a system with twice the power, twice the intelligence, twice the challenge, twice the fun. Only a chosen few were called forth to experience this new dimension of high-definition graphics and stereo sound. And the maker saw what he had done and said, "Now that's not bad. Discover Genesis, and your world will never be the same."
Welcome to the Poor Man's Retro Game Room, and I remember back in the day when I brought my Sega Genesis home and opened it up and just saw that black awesome console and having games in a clamshell. That was cool, man. There was something about it. And then that controller, the big Batarang, the black controller with the red accents. If it was, at the launch, it had red on that controller. But it was awesome. 3 buttons. I went from the NES, 2 buttons, to having 3 buttons. Eventually 6. But man, such great memories. Oh my goodness, man. It was just a blast. My kids were little, and we were just starting our family, and it was just a really cool time to be alive and to be a gamer. And I would love to hear your memories. Did you get any Sega Genesis games for Christmas? Did you get the Sega Genesis for Christmas? Man, I would love to hear that. I'm sure anybody watching this video would love to hear that. So please leave a comment with your story, with your Christmas story, or even your 1989, or any story that you have with the games that we're going to cover today. But I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let's get started, and let's take a look at the 5 games, in my opinion, the 5 best Sega Genesis games you could have got in 1989 before Christmas. Let's check it out. Alright, let's get right into it, and let's start with one of America's favorite Vietnam vets, and that's John Rambo. Rambo III for the Sega Genesis puts you right in the thick of the action as you fight your way through enemy lines to rescue POWs. This game is a true test of your reflexes, and it is, because it is a difficult game, and will have you feeling like a one-man wrecking crew, and that is true as well, man. You're going to mow down a lot of enemies. You're going to look for POWs to rescue. Once you find them, then you're going to try to get them out of the out of harm's way and to the exit within a certain amount of time. And this game is a lot of fun, and really one of the highlights is the bonus section where you actually have to use your bow to bring down a helicopter. A lot of fun, man. That is a lot of fun, and you better get it done in a hurry to get any bonus points, because it can be difficult. This game can be difficult, but I will tell you that it is a very short game. And it's really one of those fun games just to pop in and play, and once you get good enough, you can beat it within, I'd say, probably anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes, seriously. So, yeah, Rambo 3. This is a game that really nobody talks about on the Sega Genesis, and I think it's a great game. I think it's an excellent Rambo game, and it's a great game that translated from a movie to a video game, so there you go. Alright, so game number 1, Rambo 3 for the Sega Genesis. I probably can't tell you anything you don't already know about Ghouls and Ghosts. Man, it's a great game. It really is. It's a timeless classic, and I just remember playing it for the first time. It blew me away. I felt like I had the arcade game at home. It really did. Of course, you know, it's not as a perfect port, but they did an amazing job, and what they did was they reprogrammed the game. They coded it themselves, and it was done by the same guy that headed up the Sonic team, and which I thought was really interesting. But this game is a classic. It's an absolute blast to play even today. It's an amazing game. If you own a Sega Genesis, man, you gotta have Ghouls and Ghosts. What an awesome game. And it was so awesome to have back in the day, and some real bragging rights for Sega Genesis owners as well. Forgotten Worlds is a very competent arcade port, and I would have really had a blast with this back in the day. Unfortunately, I did not see this one around. In fact, didn't play it till later in life, and I really like it. I enjoy it. I'm not, great at it. And of course, the big thing is that in the arcade you had the rotary to rotate your satellite around yourself to shoot 360 degrees. And then, of course, it's handled on home ports. You're hitting the A or C button, and that spins you right or left. Now, the cool thing that they did add in the options menu is you can go in and put auto fire on, where it fires all the time. So all you really have to worry about is avoiding bullets and spinning that satellite to the target that you want to target. So that does make it a bit easier, and I think that if you play this and get really used to the controls, you won't have any problem at all. This is a really cool game, and it's a very competent port, and of course another one of those Capcom games ported to the Sega Genesis, and it worked out fantastically in my opinion. Forgotten Worlds is a really good original game from 1989. Man, I am happy anytime I get a chance to talk about Mystic Defender. I think a lot of people missed out on this game, including me back in the day, and it's been a recent discovery for me, and I really absolutely love this game. In my opinion, it is kind of like a hidden gem. I think a lot of people missed it. Of course, it's a side-scrolling action-adventure game, and you play as Joe Yamamoto, a magic user on a quest to rescue Alexandria. There you go, daughter of the supreme deity. This game is a lot of fun, man, and it focuses on magic as part of your core gameplay. It has a charge mechanic to your magic. Some magic you can hit, real quick and shoot it, and then you hold that button down to charge it up for a more devastating attack. It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety in the stages. It does get very challenging later on. There's a lava level that I make it to usually, and that one's the one I haven't got past yet, but I will. But I absolutely recommend this game. It is a blast. It's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to have one of those first games, those games that were released in 1989 for Christmas in 1989. Mystic Defender is awesome. Play it any way you can. Revenge of Shinobi for the Sega Genesis has you playing as Joe Musashi, a ninja seeking revenge against the Neo-Zed crime syndicate. Now, the Neo-Zed, a reformed version of the Zed organization from the original Shinobi, follows the standard storyline of the time. They killed Joe's master and kidnapped his fiancée. So you are fueled by rage, and you embark on a globe-trotting mission to dismantle Neo-Zed and rescue your fiancée. The gameplay, it's a side-scrolling action game where you navigate levels, defeat enemies, face challenging bosses. Man, some of the bosses are pretty challenging. But you have a really awesome arsenal. You have an arsenal that includes shurikens, bombs, powerful ninjutsu techniques, which those are cool, man. Very, very cool effects. We had not seen anything like this before on a home console, at least I hadn't. It's fast-paced action, very difficult game, but easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master. Let me put it that way. You have a huge variety of levels and an awesome soundtrack composed by Yuzo Koshiro. I'm sorry, I'm trying. But it is one of the best games, and I would say, man, it's probably the best game released in 1989 before Christmas of 1989. Man, if you were lucky enough to get your Sega Genesis on launch shortly after, this is one of the games that I'm sure if you knew, what it was like, you would have picked up. And I just remember how awesome it was and just being blown away by this game. This is an awesome game to play today. It still holds up very well today, and that's the Revenge of Shinobi. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me in the game room tonight. I appreciate it. Man, this has been a lot of fun for me anyway, just reminiscing about all of those old Sega Genesis games. The early years of the Sega Genesis was so awesome and influential in my gaming life anyway. Really defined me as a gamer back then, and absolutely loved the Sega Genesis. I loved the sports titles that came out on it. Just had a lot of fun. It's my favorite console of all time, so this has been a lot of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And until next time, and have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you later.